sex workers, men who have sex with men, all faiths, and migrants organized and conducted 8 separate community forums over the last 2 days to consolidate our learning and take stock of progress as we prepared for the 9th ICAAP.
More than 1,200 of us actively participated in discussions to deepen our understanding and share our knowledge, drawing upon our skills, experiences, and expertise as community leaders. Such a high turnout is unprecedented and illustrates how all of us remain committed to the ambitious task we have set ourselves, to reclaim our lives and confront the challenges facing us. We managed to do so in spite of, or perhaps because of, the wonderful Balinese hospitality. We came together to reflect upon and raise our awareness of what has changed since 2007. While we were pleased to note that progress has been made since UNGAS, realizing universal access and the Millennium Development Goals remains elusive.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is the change we want to see? Do we want to look back 2 years from now and see no change? Worse, do we want to see an ever-increasing number of vulnerable persons at risk getting infected because they are simply not a priority? Do we want to see sex workers and drug users thrown mercilessly into prison without access to health care, needle exchange, prevention, and treatment? HIV among MSM and transgender, as in all key affected populations, has reached crisis proportion in many areas and is going in the same direction everywhere anyone has actually bothers to look. What is the change we want to see?
Here is the change we decided we want to see and to bring about. We want our communities to have support from the governments we elect. We want our communities to have the right to health that others have. We want everyone to earn enough so that everyone can make the right choice for their health and that of their families. And after that, it's none of your business who we sleep with or what work we choose to do or how we live our life and realize our dreams. You don't know more about how to take care of our community's health than we do. We want strong, vibrant, healthy communities responding to HIV. We want strong community health systems built on the undeniable scientific evidence that exists and based on the principles of universal human rights for all. We are not doing enough if we want this change, not nearly enough, and we need to start this change today.
What can we do to make this change happen? If we want migrant workers to access health care, let's implement what the International Task Team on HIV-related travel restriction has affirmed, that migration is not a risk factor of HIV transmission, and abolish mandatory testing at our borders. This is what happened to Pyramid, and it damaged his professional development. If we want to ensure vulnerable population can access services they have the right to, let's review and reform harmful, obsolete legislation that criminalizes the behaviors of drug users and men who have sex with men and sex workers. If we want to ensure our communities stay strong for the future, let's provide access for women and youth to access, to design, and to comprehensive sexual and reproductive health services. If drug users are to access harm reduction services equitably, let's start with one-off projects and integrate harm reduction as an essential core component of government-sustained health programs.
If you're serious about addressing the needs of sex workers, then let's acknowledge that sex work is work. For males, females, transgender, people living with HIV, and people who use drugs, let's repeal the US aid restriction called the Pledge and remove all laws, policies, and practices that block effective responses to AIDS. If you want strong community participation, as someone earlier called for, let's provide sustainable core funding for organizations led by all key affected populations, including youth. If you want religion to be an asset and not an obstacle, let's strengthen the role and prominence of faith-based initiatives as our allies in fighting stigma. If you truly wish JIPA to be a reality, then let JIPA also include greater involvement of youth living with AIDS and also mean a greater investment in the people affected by AIDS.
Let us lead and support us so we can reach our potential to effect change. After all, there is no manual for learning by doing and leading by example. All of us expect leaders to face up to the challenge in their own way, in their own time. Fortunately, for all of us who are community leaders, we have all of you, strategists, analysts, scientists, policymakers, and managers as our guides and our advisors. Let us lead and support us so we can reach our potential. We belong to the communities we create, and life would not be worth living if we did not belong. We are the communities we speak for, and we can do better, and we will do better by learning together through effective partnerships, because we are not doing nearly enough and we must do better.
We want to see these changes by the next time we meet. We have the levers of change at our disposal. We are optimistic that the old paradigm of building capacities will transform into a new one of empowerment, driven and directed by strong networks of people living with, at risk of, and affected by HIV. And if these changes are not implemented, we want answers the next time we meet.
And there's more we can do to realize change from within. Firstly, we are communities committed to renewal, communities led by the unflagging determination of